Hey everybody, we got a titanium Invicta 0420 watch on the table today, and has a little problem with the minute hand. So we're going to fix that. What we're going to do is take the movement out, take the hands off. As you can see, the hands aren't attached. Well, the minute hand is loose. So the first step is going to be open up the bracelet. We'll take some kind of tool, doesn't matter much what it is, and push the pin to open up the bracelet. Doesn't take much, falls right out. Put that off to the side. Now we're going to take the back off, get the tool out, turn that counterclockwise. This tool is already adjusted for this watch. Sometimes you'll have to readjust the tool to fit the grooves properly. So I had to make sure that's working properly before I did it. So to take off the back, in this case the back is glass. So it needs to be handled differently. We're not going to store parts in it. We'll clean that up later before we put it back together. Okay, now we'll put on some better glasses and take the crown off. And on this particular model of movement, it has a little lever arm that comes out when you push the crown in. And so as you move the crown in, you can see the lever arm go out. And when you of course, when you pull the crown out, the lever arm goes in and you aren't able to push the button. And that right there is that little arm. If you look carefully, you might see some movement there, but I'm sure you can't, pretty sure you can't see that. So, simply a matter of pushing the little end of that arm and then gently pulling the crown out. Comes right out. Just put that aside. So sometimes the movement's free to come right out with gravity. So I usually just try to do that first. This particular one, it's pretty tight in there. It's just a plastic ring holding everything in. So I just go around the perimeter and some holes that are there, little slots, and just gently pull up on the plastic. It just pulls the whole movement out of there. Again, just real gentle, low pressures. You can easily hurt things so easily. So once it seems to be free, I just let gravity drop it into my hand. Of course, as you see, I've got gloves on. Put the case aside. Now I'm looking at how it's going to sit on my pad, which is I have a pad underneath here, gel inside that package, and then a nice soft clean cloth there. And the idea is to catch parts if they go flying, for one thing. So what I have to do is stop the movement now, because it's actually moving, and because the crown is in right now. So we'll put the crown back in and then pull it out to the second detent, and it'll stop the movement. And later on I'll be using that crown again to get everything set to the midnight position, which is where I'll reinstall the hands later. So it's an important step to put that crown back on just for this. Now the hand removal tool in this case is not what I want to use, because it grabs all the way from the bottom and takes all the hands all at once. It's a great tool, but I'm just going to leave the hour hand on because it's fine. So I'm going to just cover everything with plastic. Well, first I'm going to get that minute hand out of the way. And cover everything with plastic, just a thin little piece of a Ziploc bag, and then just gently pry that second hand off there. And it doesn't take much force. Just gently get underneath it and pull it evenly up, and voila, everything is loose. So now really I'm just about to reinstall everything, so I just want to make sure everything's in good shape. So I'll just take a look at things. These hands are so fragile, you can't really handle them with tweezers, at least the second hand. I wouldn't even recommend trying. So I use a little vacuum tweezer. It's mouth actuated vacuum tweezer. I invented it. It's not pretty, but it works well. I'll show you that in a minute. First, I got a little dust stuck to the face. I just wanted to get that off. There we go. Again, that brush is super clean and super soft. So I am just now going to dial it into the midnight position. And so what I'll do is keep turning that till the hour hand gets to, hopefully it's right at the midnight position, right when the date changes. It sort of snaps into position. Right then I want to see the hour hand arrive at midnight. So I'm looking for that, making sure and again I like that to happen right at midnight. So got that set up now. So then everything's clean, good. Got my press tools here. Figure out how to open the box. And the reason the minute hand is loose is I wasn't able to press it on properly with the tools I had before. So that's why I'm back in here and doing this again. Just got these tools and they were reasonable quality from China. Anodized aluminum handles with nylon tips, various sizes. The chart was illegible as far as the sizes go, but there's a variety of sizes that you can find the right one. So here's the vacuum tweezer. My mouth is on the other end of that black hose, just taped on to a little plastic tube. You can easily handle tiny parts with that without any damage at all. And in fact, sometimes you can actually use it to install the hands as well. It's only one diameter and you have to be careful. You can easily bend the hands up and cause havoc with it if you're not careful. Here I'm using it just for a little plastic pusher tool. Sometimes I don't even apply a vacuum to it. Sometimes I do. And here I'm trying to position that hand right at midnight, and then I'll get the press tool, the proper one, out, and just you can tell by eye what size you need. And then I'm just gonna press that hand on there. Again, my pad is very soft. I'm not pressing that hard. And it's sometimes a struggle. I think it went flying once. You think you have it aligned properly, and it's not right. So got that on. Seems to be proper. Now I'll select the right size pusher tool. Get that out of the way. And press that hand on there. Okay, there we go. Make sure everything's looking good. Now, of course, I pressed the second hand on the same way. Cleaned up the case, the crystal inside with alcohol. Everything's looking good. Now I just lower it into place. And make sure it's aligned properly with the hole. I found it didn't drop in exactly registered. So you have to really look at it and make sure it's just exactly right. And once it is, you can just push the crown back in. I just kind of turn it gently, gently. It slips right in. No effort, hardly at all. You'll feel a spring at the very end, and you'll feel it start winding. It does wind in one direction when it's just about to start in the most pushed in position. And then of course if you push in against that spring, it'll screw down the crown for sealing it. And here I've got some alcohol out. I'm going to wipe that case back, clean that up. I don't really recommend using Kleenex, which is what I was using here. The lint is horrible. You have to really dry it well and get the lint off with the brush. So it doesn't really lend itself to leaving a super clean surface. I have to get out some lint-free cloths next time. And then we're just going to make sure everything's dry. Let the alcohol dry off of everything one last time. Make sure everything's happy. Screw down the crown. And we're just going to screw the case back on. And it should just go right on easily. And I got it down finger tight. Then just a little more before I start getting that big old tool out. There we go. See how that fits in the slots. And it's just real gentle pressure. And then once you feel that rubber O-ring start to compress, you can judge the amount of pressure you're putting on it. Then we're just going to put that little pin back into the bracelet. And line up those little holes. Little should snap into position. Real easy. And then we're done. It is working and clean. I'm looking for dust, making sure everything's moving right. There it is. Thanks for watching.